I attracted a job opportunity out of the blue in one of my many career fields, but the salary and chance for promotion was low. But the truth was that it wasn't truly the job that I wanted. I did some soul searching. However, I was completely delighted too that this opportunity came out of nowhere. But the truth was I manifested it. My best friend said I have to become more specific in my desire. And the lesson was that also that just because I manifest it doesn't mean I have to take it. It's like just because the buffet table is full of choices doesn't mean I have to eat everything. I realized that there is another job in my heart which has all the benefits and salary that I desire. It's the dream job. I saw your video on manifesting big and watching what happens, and this job was told to me in May, but it hasn't been broadcasted yet, and there is, it's getting confusing. Hang on. May not be broadcasted unless there's enough funding, even though I am in touch with the boss of that office. He told me that they are working out of funding for the entire office, and there is a possibility for my post to be part of the budget. Meaning the job, part of the budget. The job position, basically what they're saying is the job position, they found it, but it's not there yet because they need funding for the position. Watching your videos gave me the confidence to start putting into my subconscious about this job again. Kindly, how would you go about planting a scenario in my head for this job? So let me make something very clear. This is a great question. Your manifestations do not have to be specific, but what do I mean by that? Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because if you know criteria of what you want, you only have to list the criteria that you want, and the rest will be filled perfectly. So you don't have to pick something that's there and then manifest it. You can create your own. You can make a list of all the different traits that you wish to experience in a job and then read it to yourself over and over, or script in the future as if you have it, or do a visualization that you have something like that right now. But with what you're, and it will come perfectly, and you'll know that when something does appear, and this is what I mean, the separation between reactive and non-reactive. So this is a perfect example. I see a job, the job opening is there, right? But I haven't imagined anything yet. So I see that job and I say, ooh, I want to manifest this job. That's a reactive manifestation. Now you can still get it. There's a good chance you're going to still get it, but there's still a chance that you won't. Versus if I wrote down a list of all the different traits of a job that I wanted, imagined it, and then all of a sudden I see a job that fits that criteria, I already know 100% that that job is mine. First of all, does that make sense? Raise your hand. So, but if you want this position, what I would do is I would script from the future a journal entry of yourself about you're grateful that you received said position. And not only that, but you are grateful for it because it is perfect for you. You can do that. You can go on Google, type in where you would be working or whatever, if you know it already, and then bring that into your imagination. And in your imagination, imagine as if you are already there. When I imagine, this is a little bit different. When I imagined I was working, I went to Denver, it was imagine and poof, within an hour, I got an invitation to go to Denver. So I just want to say that because just because you are reactively manifesting doesn't mean that you are not going to get it. It just means that there is still a chance that you're battling against the manifestation that's coming. But in this case, just imagine that you already have the position in the first person point of view. Feel the feelings that it already happened after the end, after you have already received it, and you'll have it. And then here's another thing. Write down the traits of your ideal position. Just do it. Watch what happens. If you'd like to have a dream job and financial independence, but have no idea what the details of that are, would we use something similar to the scene you used when you manifested your successful business? That's exactly what came into my mind. And for those of you who are unaware of that scene, it's extremely important, and the story's pretty important for that. But the backstory was I was struggling to manifest myself a business. Now, for me, I'm business minded. Ever since I was a little kid, I'm telling you, like less than 10 years old, I was actively coding websites and selling them to people for like nothing. But nevertheless, that's what I was doing. It's always been my key desire to have a business, to be on my own and whatever. So once I picked up manifesting, and I was manifesting these small businesses, and they were either failing or I just didn't care enough, so I let them fail, or they failed. But so what ended up happening was I ended up imagining myself on vacation with a laptop on my lap, sitting on a deck or a balcony, looking over at like this landscape, closing the laptop and saying, I'm so grateful it's Tuesday and I'm already done working. So that implied a ton of things. That implied that I was working remotely. That implied that I was happy, that I was grateful, that I was only working a couple days a week, that I had the money to travel. It implied all these different things. And within a week, this business was born. I think it was a week. I could be wrong. Maybe a little over a week. This business just birthed, like in the sense that someone passed, like without me asking or knowing, being completely unaware, someone passed one of my blog posts over to another individual. That individual sent it to someone else, and that was Lila from Nevolution. She contacted me, asked me if I wanted or if I would allow her to read my blog post on her channel. I didn't have to read it, and I said, okay, but I said, listen, I'm not doing a YouTube channel, though. That doesn't interest me. Nevertheless, when she read it, she said, keep your eye open for Joseph Alley's upcoming YouTube channel. So it put me on the spot just enough to make the channel. And then from there, the rest is history. And so that was from that one imaginal act, and I'm 100% certain of it. And so if you don't know, you don't need to necessarily know exactly what you want to do, but you can list the criteria, or you can imagine the criteria of what you wish to embody. And so that worked very well for me. Generalities are very effective because they don't limit what you're capable of manifesting. When I say limit, I don't mean that there's limits in the sense of you can't manifest certain things. But what I mean is the quickness of a manifestation in part depends upon the specificity of it. And so the smaller the possibilities, or when I say possibilities, I mean if there's one person or one thing, then it's possible that it could take longer because more pieces have to move on the chessboard. So, and just to explain to you very, very briefly about how that works, I've explained this in videos before, but essentially the fabric of our being, or the fabric of manifestation, is impulses, which means when I imagine to receive a free cup of coffee, an impulse must strike the barista at Starbucks to give me that Starbucks coffee. Also, the impulse will strike me to go to that Starbucks at the exact time that woman is struck with an impulse to give me a coffee. So now, the more complex a manifestation, it's possible that the more impulses must strike individuals. And that adds up, and eventually impulses lead to actions, actions lead to other actions, and eventually you receive your manifestations. So in the case of why I was failing with my manifestations, it was because I was being very specific, but also because I didn't really care. So they were happening, but it was kind of haphazard and it wasn't working right. When I allowed more generalities, then more options came in. And the amazing thing is that everything I have ever loved to do, such as marketing, programming, teaching manifesting, talking about manifesting, and probably more things that I can't remember at this exact moment, they all manifested at the same time when this business was born. And so that's one of the awesome things about generalities, because my inner self is God. And so my conscious mind sometimes is not capable of fully understanding what my inner self truly wants, or my self in general. And so therefore, when I leave when I leave things open, my true self, my inner self, who knows more about me than this carnal analytical mind does, will manifest better and greater and above all I could think or ask. And that's a perfect example of what happened in this case. I want financial freedom, and I continue to react to my current job that I don't like. Is it possible that my vision of financial independence can be canceled out by my overreacting to a current job I hate? I I'm working on mind tapes and mental diet, but I'm still reacting on the difficult days. You may be answering this right now as I am typing. That's really funny. I think I have answered it, but just to be clear, it's like it can get in the way. It can cause trouble. It can elongate your manifestation. So basically, what I just explained as far as testing, I'm not saying that you have to test and do this and that, but I think a lot of times it's more important to clear out our subconscious to create new beliefs that are going to, in turn, allow us to receive better, faster, stronger. That is sometimes more important to focus on than the manifestation itself. So that's that. Let me think if there's anything else I have to add to that. I would, pardon me, also, what I used to do is modify my job that I hated in order for them to change so that I didn't have to feel the way that I felt. Ultimately, it was a waste of time. It still worked, but what it did was it distracted me from manifesting what I really wanted, which was this job. And so I was scolded at by a woman, a woman who manifested, and she said, "Why do you keep manifesting your job changing? Why are you?" Because I was so good at it. I am telling you that company went through hell because I was there changing it and micromanaging it to fit my needs. And it worked for a while. And the woman, she chastised me. She said, "What are you doing? You're wasting your mind. You're wasting your imaginal acts. Use it on your business." The moment I decided to use my imaginal acts on my business and not modifying my job, within a week I had this business fully operational. This came out of thin air. So that's a story of wasting energy, wasting your imaginal acts when you could be using them towards things that you want and not towards things that you don't want. So just throw that in there.